Welcome to my program on 3 things every manager needs to know about GINA. Who's GINA? Genetic Information Non-Discrimination Act. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to start off with is, what are you talking about, Michelle, with genetic information? Do you know that we can do a genome map? We, meaning human beings, now have the capability of doing a genome map on every human being. So what that means is doctors may be able to tell whether you carry the gene for certain diseases. Are the wheels turning? Are you automatically starting to see where this might become a problem? And it's a good thing that your genetic information is considered your PHI, your protected health information. And what does that mean? That you cannot use someone's PHI to make a job-related decision. Now, does that sound familiar? If you watched my video on 3 things every manager needs to know about HIPAA, I got into specific details. So those are the 2 things that we're going to be discussing in the video. And then the third thing I want to talk about in this video has to do with who governs GINA. And that is going to be the Department of Health and Human Services. So if there is any type of violation, it's very similar to the way complaints are handled at OSHA. It's complaint driven, in other words. So someone's going to call up and make a complaint that I feel like my genetic information has been used to make a job-related decision. Now let's delve a little deeper into the 3 things and also talk about the penalties. For example, you could go to jail for up to 10 years or be fined $250,000 for violating HIPAA and GINA. President Bush signed GINA into law in 2008. Why? To protect our genetic information. And your genetic information is your PHI. Genome maps are becoming more and more common. So the Department of Health and Human Services is expecting us to be more proactive in protecting this information and never make a job-related decision based off of it. So as you may become privy to an employee's genome map, as a manager, supervisor, maybe even an HR professional, the temptation is to protect the organization from those related healthcare costs and loss of productivity. Don't do it. Talk about the job description with the healthcare provider. And even though you may have more information than someone else about this particular employee's genetic information, that doesn't give you the right to make a job-related decision based off of it. So it's probably better that you don't know this information. Go to the Department of Health and Human Services website. Learn more about GINA specifically. And as you are talking to your employees, you always want to ask questions as it relates to the schedule, to the job description. So you have an action plan, and you know my first step right there is to go to the website. Step number 2, you must protect the genetic information in your organization. Step number 3, never make a job-related decision based off of someone's genetic information. So what you need to do is talk about the job description, the schedule, not the illness, the symptoms, medication, or side effects. And you know who you can talk to also is me. Go to my Facebook page, Michelle Motivate Me, and like it. Once you do, you'll be able to make comments, you'll be able to ask questions, and there is already a community there, and we are discussing these things. And I'd love to hear your stories and your input. Pass on the baton, so to speak, if you have some success with this and you want to share it with others. But most importantly, I'd love to know your questions and your comments and your thoughts about this particular topic. So connect with me, and I want to thank you for watching this video.